record. So we're now recording.
Really?
Recording now, huh?
Alright, so
Yep.
we can say stuff now and have them cut it out later.
Yeah, sure. Blah, blah, blah.
Most awkward beginning of podcast ever.
Yeah, well, there's going to be music inserted into it a little bit, too.
Oh, yeah, post-editing.
That'll be fun. So, anyway, I guess to get everything started, we'll just introduce everyone. So, I guess we'll just start in alphabetical order, so why don't you go ahead and start, bro. Or you can be quiet.
Was that I heard no, I didn't know if that was
Or,
directed.
oh, you're going by,
You're DSO. You're alphabetically first.
Okay, because I don't see myself on the list, so that throws me all kinds of off.
Alright.
Well, I figured it'd be DSO, then Grind, then MST, myself, and then Squish.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright. Hello, this is DSO.
Is that it?
I don't know.
That's
This is what I'm supposed to
I
do.
was just going to say I was Grime and leave it at that. Which I
Alright.
just did.
And I'm MetroidMst.
And Person 701's here, and this is already going horribly.
I think it's about as well as can be expected, to be honest.
Yep.
Perfect.
And I'm Squishy Chigo. Hello, kitties.
I knew you were going to throw that in there. I don't know how, but I knew.
Kiddies. Anyway, I guess we should actually, talk about things.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
good.
think. I mean, you got
And sting the list.
list now, Squishy, don't you?
Yep.
Alright, good. So we got
Should we
everything.
go straight down the list, or just hit random topics?
It'd probably be random by what person does, like we do something from one person, then
Yeah.
other from one person.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and start at the very top then?
Sure.
Do it!
So,
I guess the first one is talking about item progressions and hacks, and like what item progressions you like.
Why don't you start us off with that since that was your list topic, bro? Or DSO, I guess I should say.
Alright, so Squishy will be not happy to hear it, but one of the things that bothered me about Pantheon was I did not like collecting Morph Ball what felt like so late.
It wasn't that late.
I don't know, I
Only
kind of
like
I
the
kind of
ninth
like
or
it.
10th
If I
More
can't
ball.
roll rounds in Mock Ball and whatnot, it just feels wrong to me. It feels like I feel paraplegic or whatever they call it. It's like I can't do the stuff I want to do.
I don't have mine
So-
waiting a while for it.
I suddenly have this image of a paraplegic stand trying to destroy Zedis.
Oh, this is going well.
It's only going to get better.
There's a hack idea in there somewhere.
I don't know, as far as actual progression goes, like the item order, I don't know, I've seen some pretty interesting applications of that. Like I've seen it where I think one of the oldest hacks, I think it was made by a guy called Crockemeyer or something. It was like power bombs was the first thing you got and all that, and it was that's not a very good hack to exemplify for that, but honestly, I haven't played a whole lot of hacks. I mean, I've played some of the big ones that dropped, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
play as many as I should.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Graham. I don't play a whole lot, but from what I have played, I don't typically mind the a little bit of a change or the same from the original Metroid. Unusual is not bad either, so long as it's done right, like where you don't have to, or stuff is either ridiculously hidden or that's not really progression, but or just like if anything seems like way out of place, like high jump at like the end of the game where it doesn't really have much use anymore.
Yeah.
I
It's one
forget
thing
which
to put
hack
it.
it was. Go ahead, go.
I was just going to say, it's one thing to put it in way later on if you're clever enough, if you can get to it earlier or something, if you can wall jump really well or something
Oh
like that.
yeah, definitely.
Linearly holding it back to the end, yeah, it's kind of a weird choice for high jump.
So I was gonna say, I don't remember which hack it was. I think it was Limit, but the choice between super missiles and power bombs, you had that choice.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I'm now interested in that.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the more interesting ideas, especially since that was a pretty early hack. It made you choose what you wanted early on. You would get the other one later, but your path was decided by which one you picked.
I don't think I ever played that.
Wasn't there a hack by Zagoth, I think is called MDZ, or More Different Zeebs, where you have multiple pickups in one room and you can only select one of them? So you go to the game and you could only select certain upgrades.
Ooh,
Interesting.
that sounds rather fun, actually.
I think
Kind of like what I was doing
Speedrunners
with
would
back.
hate that, though.
if I recall
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
it's not really a full-blown like custom hack. It's just, well, there are some custom things like new item locations, obviously.
I had been working on an idea where there was 3, 4, maybe more paths that you could choose from, depending on like how difficult you wanted the run to be, and the item progression was different for each one.
Yeah.
That never got very far though.
It's hard to get anything going anymore.
It's a lot of work to
Really
plan
is.
stuff like that out. So
Especially non-linearity. I find that really, really difficult to plan out.
yeah,
Like you
It
can't
is.
exactly sit down. Just go.
Well,
I
you
want
have
this
to
to be
consider-
open and this to be open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
'cause you have
method.
to consider every little thing, like the people who are playing who can't wall jump at all to the people who can do it with frame precision. You have to take everything into account.
yeah.
It's a
Not
lot
just-
harder.
Not just that, but non-linearity is mostly left up to the level design. If you've noticed.
Yeah.
So let you get everywhere
Mm-hmm.
with nothing. So
You know, my approach to that in the new Angry Fire Chozo is I have it sort of modularized where I have certain lists of items, and you have to go through like a whole list before you can get on to the next, but anything that's within that list, you can go for at any time. Like once you get to that point, all those items are open to you. You can go several routes that way without having to be forced to get this item, and then you have to get high jump, and then you have to get supers or whatever. I mean, you have a little bit of flexibility without it being completely open.
So it's basically once you have all these items, you can continue on to the next portion of the game.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like that, but I don't have it set so strictly where you have to go back into everything. But
You
it's
can get A
minimal
before
sense.
B or C before A if you wanted.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that
Oh,
makes
that's
sense.
pretty cool. I haven't heard of anything like that. I dig.
That was just a way to try and get, because the hack is going to be huge, and I'm trying to pace it out so that people can just keep exploring and finding stuff without ending up getting stuck. So I'm trying. I tried to design the hack so you kind of loop around on yourself a bit. That way, if you don't, like, you can explore all the way to the left, and if you grab all items over there, then you have to go back all the way to the right through everything you explored, and because of the size of the hack, that can get boring. So I try to have everything have a circular motion so you don't feel like you're wasting time backtracking so much. I mean,
That was one of the things that people liked a lot about Pantheon was the circularness of it. So.
But yeah, I mean, backtracking has its place. Like if you come back later on and you've got a whole bunch of other crap, but just running down a huge hallway and then having to go right back, and that can be avoided by just a little alternate route or something. Yeah.
I think that's what makes redesign not so bad on the level of exploration, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like-
loops you back to where you need to go.
Particularly Norfair, because when you originally have to go through it, I never liked that portion of the game. But after you get grapple and speed booster, it really opens up.
Yeah.
I remember Norfair and redesign. My God. I think Norfair is the reason I never beat that hack. I think I got to screw attack and that was about it.
Now, as far as like item progressions, one thing I will say I completely dislike is when you get just regular plain bombs late.
I did that in Pantheon too.
Yeah, I know. It was done in Pantheon, the Phazon hack does it, and
First, good.
it
Continue.
was just... that is an item I expect to have to help me explore throughout the whole hack. And so when I get it late, I'm like, whatever, I don't want to go back and explore everything again.
I already did that.
Yeah. So
What if say you got like X-ray early, but didn't get bombs? That way you still had the ability to explore.
Well,
But
you
Now
can
that
still
would
see
actually
it, but you can't bomb through it.
yeah,
if
but-
you got spring balls, sometime you could go through more tunnels if there weren't any bomb
Oh, yeah.
blocks. But
Yeah. That's not a bad workaround. That actually would add use to X-ray scope a little more.
that would be.
I mean, still, it's technically useless if you know where everything is, but it would
Yeah.
make it more useful on a first playthrough.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you
I
one thing that gets me about, I mean, I see it a lot in people that just start up their first hack or whatnot where they don't consider the 2-tile gap before you
Yeah.
have more
oh,
perma stuck.
Yeah.
that's definitely
I think that's the quickest way to get me to stop playing a hack is,
You don't know about that.
I start off at the ship. Hey, cool, this looks pretty neat. There, I'm stuck. 12 feet away
It's
from
like-
the freaking ship.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, as far as item progression goes, though, I'm curious to see how things will start changing in the future as custom items become more common. I don't know. Are there any, other than Boost Ball, are there any hacks with any other custom items? Well, there's
I've got a few on the way for Super Metroid Prime, but that's far off in the distance, so I wouldn't worry about it.
I think Jam made the long beam
Yeah, I think he did do that.
and some kind of charge item. I think that heals you, or that might have been
Oh.
somebody else.
Black Falcon also made, if you're familiar with the Metroid Online thing where they modded Halo, he made the Havoc Beam, which is a beam that bounces off walls about 10, 15 times before it disappears.
Oh yeah, he finished that for that. So I remember him demoing it.
Well,
for-
no, he finished it for Super Metroid, so
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
I found out while looking around his YouTube channel the other night.
Yeah, so I guess the B part to this question, do you prefer linear or non-linear progressions?
I think, as a whole, since a lot of people really disliked Fusion because the majority of the other Metroid games are really non-linear, I think non-linear is the way to go, in my opinion. It adds a lot of openness to the world.
I mean, I think there should be I guess, a linear path that you follow. I guess,
Yeah.
just to kind of something
Yeah.
to guide you through the game for the first time. But if you want to break that pattern,
You can't.
Pretty much like the original.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
because the original has a progression, but
Yeah.
you can also break that to pieces.
A
Oh,
flexible kind of
so-
linearity.
Yeah. Although I will say that is also very hard to accomplish.
But if I had to choose just strictly between the two, linear or non-linear, probably I would probably say linear. As weird as that sounds, because I mean you can make a linear game that's really fun. It's just
Yeah, you can.
I think the thing with Fusion that a lot of people hated about it was all the dialogue and the cutscenes and go here and
Yeah,
do
that's
this
true.
that.
And it told you where to go.
Yeah,
That
You'd
is
still
true.
be kind of
Yeah.
exploring
I mean if
without
it's
that, so...
yeah, but if it's like a real strict linear path, but it's just figure it out on your own and have fun, I can,
Yeah, that's
I
a
can
bit...
get into that a lot more.
Yeah.
On that logic, I guess, if we're going by that, I would say I'm more of a non-linear kind of person.
I like having
I'm
the
just
structure
I
of
get
a...
lost too easy in non-linear hacks. I start wandering around,
That's kind of the...
sequence break
That's
here.
kind of what I like about it. It's you find stuff, and after
Yeah.
an hour of searching, oh, I found something. You feel so accomplished, and then you want to continue playing.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't like about linear when well, it's just depend on how the hacker game is done, but the thing I don't like is when it shoehorns you into going a certain path, and there's other paths that you can see, but every time you start going down one, then you find an obstacle in the way, and it feels like you're constantly being forced down this one way without being able to explore.
Yeah, that would be annoying.
So that kind of linear I don't like, but I do like linear that gives you the feeling that you're exploring on your own, but you're still following the path.
Yeah, good guiding hand.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So what do you think about that, Squishy?
It really depends. I was going to use Erie's as an example because in the beginning, it's really you don't know where to go at all, and that confused a lot of people.
Yeah.
They couldn't find Morphball. They had no idea where to go. But as you get further into the hack, the path becomes more linear, but it's still all over the place, and it has that feel of the non-linearness to it.
Yeah.
But you have all that stuff to explore.
Yeah, Air's handled that really well, I think.
Yeah.
Like, once you kind of figured out where the morphball was, it was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, I think the morph ball was the hardest part to that.
Shoot everything, find everything.
Alright, well, I think we're good on that one. Why don't we drop down to first one that person pulled up about the Smile source code being released.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All that. Because I personally think, with as much ideas that are going around the community now, and like the people who are adding small little programs to do these small little things, and at the rate Smile is not being updated, I think this is a really good idea.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was finally released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it'll get confusing in the future with people having their own versions of it and all. That's really, it's just more of a reason to get to know the game more, so you can know what this version's doing to it that it shouldn't or whatnot. I mean, I think Jam already released his own Smile JX or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, it didn't take long, and Sizer's been picking at it on her own before the release, but nonetheless, same vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that gives me a bit of hope in the future towards actually getting a music editor integrated with actual hacking program.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that for 7 years.
With the state of music editing as it is now in Notepad, it takes me, even if I know all the notes of a song, even if it's just a short and simple song, it still takes 2 hours or so just to get a very short, simple loop done right, because it's very... You have to go in and every single time you want to adjust like the reverb level or panning or whatnot, you have to go through this huge process of making your changes in a Notepad, saving it, then applying it to the ROM.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather have something that's integrated where you can just do something in QuickMet.
Yeah, and with Smile being open source, I mean, Jaffe isn't the only programmer either. You've got other people like Silver Scree's brother, Black Falcon, Sizer, Jam. There's other people that can do sort of things, and so it's not to say they couldn't take the source and build something off of that, or write something that could just run right with it, integrate in.
The only downside I could see is this: sometime in the future, if all of these people who can work with the code actually build in their own features, and they all have a feature you like, but they're all in separate Smile. That I could see be something.
I'm assuming one day, like, all these ideas will start kind of coming together into like a super editor.
I mean, Smile does have a built-in plugin feature, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think he was working on that, or just got it done, but never actually made any plugins or anything for it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could get the basis
I remember
of
him
this,
posting some stuff for it, like little test links.
Yeah.
For people to try out.
If we could get the basis of like Smile working and everything, like a general community consensus as to what should be in it, then everybody can start writing for the plugin manager, and we could go from there.
Yeah.
Man, I'm looking forward to like a complete palette editor, like how you can edit Samus and it goes changing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to like having that for all the enemies and the bosses and whatnot.
That would be nice.
That would be all over that.
Great.
I'm always referring to Squishy's guide on how to edit the boss's palettes. So.
I wrote that forever ago. Goodness.
The palette hunting one, or the using the I'm a Genius to...
It's the I'm a Genius one.
Yeah.
It gives me the offsets to go to.
That was actually the first thing that I, was a guide that I wrote that was actually useful. So.
I don't know, that and your tile set repointing helped me out a lot.
Yeah. And your safe station guide, that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Grimes.
He's got all these
One
nice
of your
little
two main
basic
safe station
documents.
guides.
Well, actually, I think all of Squish's guides pretty much helped me a lot when I was getting into this thing.
His guides are very helpful. And like the one guide I wrote, that everybody who's tried using it has had to ask me what I meant.
Which guide?
You wrote a guide?
Yeah, the making new rooms.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that kind of assumes a lot of prior knowledge.
Yeah, that one.
Step 1,
I
do
kind of
this.
assume
Step
they
3,
know,
add all
so-
the pointers yourself.
That's one of the reasons why I'm afraid of making or releasing a music guide, is I don't want to deal with all the questions, because especially at this
You
point,
will.
with all the extra things you have to do, it is quite complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Not
one of the
me,
reasons
man.
we need a music editor to take all the tediousness out of it.
Yeah, actual music editing interface for the Super Metroid tunes. Yeah, I'd be all over that because,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like the notepad things before. Nah, I can't do it. Can't do it. That just
What is
takes
this and
time
how do you
to learn
speak it?
that I don't have. Say
Yeah.
What is this and how do you speak it?
what? Yeah.
I don't know Chinese, so. So yeah. I'm just really hoping that eventually we'll get all these ideas, because a lot of people had ideas for Smile, but now they can actually work with it if they know the language. So I'm
Maybe
hoping sometime we'll get sort of a Super Smile that will pretty much handle everything.
Maybe one day we'll get Undo.
Oh, wow, that would be great.
So you're
I
hoping
wouldn't-
that Smile gets to be more like, I think, what's it called, Lunar Magic? The Super Mario
Yeah.
World program that has all sort of stuff in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
That thing's loaded.
I
It'll
couldn't,
be a
I
few
couldn't
years,
figure
but I
it
could
out,
see-
but kind of like that.
Like,
Well, I
give
looked
it
at it once, so that doesn't help much. But,
Yeah, well, there's better games to hack, right?
yeah, true.
Yep.
Okay, well, does anyone else have anything to say on that?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh, a shout out to Interdepth and him not ever finishing Cheesy.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
what up?
yeah.
It was a good effort. It was a good effort.
That's such a cheesy line, Squishy.
Oh, don't even.
Don't even go there. Not here.
Edit that out, Grimes. Alright, well, why don't we drop down to the other number one there? Will hacks ever be better than the original Super Metroid?
I think the first thing would ask would be, what do you consider better?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
Depend-
I'm
because-
sure it will be, if not already. I mean, again, it's subjective, because, I mean, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's a
it
lot of
is.
people who already think such and such is better than the original,
Yeah.
But I guess as a generalized standard for, even outsiders checking it out for the first time, yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, once all the original quirks are, finally understood and fixed up, and you get these hacks that are pretty much like something that came from Nintendo,
Yeah.
I can see that.
I guess my thought on that was, Super Metroid it's a fun game, first of all, and has so many different possibilities of playing it. I mean, you could play the game, if you know all the little tricks like wall jumping and bomb jump and all that, if you know all those, you can do the game 1,000 different ways. You can collect items in almost any order you want. And with the hack, you kind of can do that, but most of it requires, like, a task.
Yeah, because
That is true.
It's kind of a hard bias to get around, because as somebody who plays hacks and who knows the game, it's hard to set things up that are too easy or too hard. You don't, because when they were making it, they didn't consider, I don't think, unless mockball was an intended mechanic, to have people sliding over crumble blocks and all that.
Yeah.
But when you're considering that, it makes it harder to design.
Yeah.
Because you think, what if they get around here? They're going to get this upgrade early or whatever. It's
Because
You start seeing too much.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know
Exactly
I would
it.
never have made Super Metroid the way it is, with what I know. I'd be like, no, I don't want them getting supers early. I'm going to make
No,
those
go
crumble
kill
blocks.
Sports on.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I guess it's kind of a hacker mentality to make it so different or more difficult so they can't do some things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of maybe takes away the fun of exploring and trying to figure stuff out a little bit away from hacks. So that's kind of what I was getting at. That would there ever be a hack kind of like Super Metroid, where you could literally crawl all over the place and it'd still
That's
be
what I've
fun?
been trying to get at with mine. I mean, it's impossible not to consider if somebody skips this ahead of time, but
Yeah.
what if they do? I think it's more
Yeah.
trying to make it to where it doesn't look like they should be able to, but they end up doing it anyway. So it's like, ooh, am I in a forbidden zone right now or not?
Yeah.
Keeping that there.
I've worked with the...
I'm a overpowered enemy when I go through this door that I'm not prepared for. Let's find out.
Yeah.
That adds a lot to it, I think. If as the player you can't really tell if you're actually supposed to be there or not, or if it was considered ahead of time.
Yeah.
I've been working with some ideas of getting items earlier than you're supposed to, but it's really difficult to do. So, but if people explore and they know how to sequence break and stuff, they can get it. I like messing around with that a little bit.
Yeah.
You're looking into basically high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. I that's agreeable, I think.
And I would also just recommend for anybody who has something like that to make sure you know how save stations work and implement them.
Oh yes, please. That's okay. Well, nobody noted this in the list, but please make save stations. Make it so hacks don't have to be used with save states.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with save states. You're probably playing it on an emulator anyway, but I'd prefer to be able to actually have this save station.
Well, yeah, and again, that adds to the, I guess, authentic feel of this. If you have, you can actually play and save, like on a console and all. You don't have to. You don't have that one room that kills you every time because it's stupidly hard spike jumps or whatever to do.
Or that grapple room and redesign.
Yeah. Remember, not everybody plays with save states, people.
Yeah. Well, it's getting back to the topic of hacks being better. This is the metric that I'm going to use. Like if I were playing as a kid, like any of these hacks, you could think of Limit as being Super Metroid, what they released. If that were the game, like Limit was Super Metroid, and I played as a kid, I would have given up and not kept playing it. And so using that metric, I think there's a couple hacks that I think I would have gotten into just as much as Super Metroid, and that's it. Most of the others, even Eris, I think probably as a kid I would have quit.
Yeah, it's a little hard.
Yeah.
I would have been too afraid to keep playing Eris. I think.
If Eris came out in '94 when I was 6, I would have been scared by how that looked.
Yeah, Fusion scared me when I was like 10 or 11. I mean, Eris is worse than Fusion. Everything looks so much creepier.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the metric I use to measure whether it'll be better. So I think, there's a couple hacks I think are better than the original. Although they do have bugs that would be taken out in like a official release if I were ever to do something official. But I do think that there are hacks that are better than the original.
That's something else to bring up, is that hacks generally, there's always in there somewhere a bug or a few in the hack somewhere, just because you don't have this team of testers, you don't have 50 people working on the game. You pretty much have one main person working on it, and then maybe some testers and some side help besides that. And so there's nothing like nearly as polished as Super Metroid was.
Yeah, the original.
No, there's a few that have gotten pretty close. Yeah. I mean, the redesign.
Yeah, I'd say redesign
is looking pretty legit.
One thing that really does annoy me now, I mean, I did it terribly in like Angry Fire Chozo, the original. It's when you go through a door and then you have the colors that don't fade being used in the tile set, so you see all that junk as the tile set jumps and it scrolls by. It just looks ugly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the bugs I think people should start looking into fixing. I mean, I have a patch that makes all the colors fade, so that takes care of it right there. But if you don't want to do that, then I think you need to set up your tile set so you aren't using those colors that don't fade.
Yeah, just make sure you use them just further into the room, not right by a door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, before we move on to the next up, I just want to say how I would gauge something better than Super Metroid is. I guess I look for more replayability value.
Mm-hmm.
That's just who I am. Like, I can constantly play Smash Bros. Melee or Metroid Prime over and over because just, like you said earlier, MST, there's 1,000 different ways you can play Super Metroid just because of how it's set up.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I look for a little bit of everything. Like, I mean, you can have a hack that's, got the coolest room designs ever, but if the physics are, whacked out and the
Yeah.
colors
I
are
mean, that does
really
take into
bad, kind of
consideration.
takes away from that appeal
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables.
Yeah, it's a whole
There
lot
are.
that goes into.
A lot are very opinionated too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well,
So,
you know what? We're not doing number 2, bro.
Adam hasn't authorized this topic.
Yeah, I don't know why I left that one in.
We
All right,
completely
let's do.
skipped Zeke's thing though.
Oh well, there. We'll get to that.
He
maybe.
did not say anything.
He didn't say anything, Phil.
Yes, I know.
We'll just
I'm
mention
on
it.
nothing.
Hi, Zeke. So, while we go to number 3 on your list, DSO, I guess you wanted to discuss your stuff.
Floor's all yours, bro.
You listed your 40
Lies
hacks you're
on
working on.
DSO.
So.
All right, so who wants to take a stab at how many hacks I'm working on or have worked on?
I'm gonna
Said
say
not as many as
5.
me.
Gonna say 5.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Squishy says 7.
I'll guess 3.
I'm not guessing.
Ooh,
I think my
I'm
40 is
regretful.
closer than yours.
Well, if you count what's just mine and not including, me helping out with fear and whatnot, see, I've got 2 other games that I'm hacking, one of which is a Super Mario RPG, and then for Super Metroid itself, there's 3 that I'm working on.
Uh-huh.
See, there's 4,
Yeah, I'm going to say you were aiming low on that one.
so that makes a total of 6 hacks, so I guess it's a tie between Grime and Squishy,
Right, me too.
Sure.
Too.
but
Even though I said 5, but sure.
That's just too much for me. That's why I never release anything.
See, my
I'm working
problem
on one
is-
and I can't release it, so...
alright, well, I've got 2 that are, one of them is a boss rush,
Ooh.
or kind of a boss rush style, where you only have a few rooms, then you have a boss, then you go a few more rooms, another boss.
And
So
you'll
it's
hate
not going to be very long. Yes, you will hate Spore Spawn in it, I will say that.
There is no doubt of that.
You
And then-
oh, man.
Other hack I have is not, I guess you could call it a mini hack if you call Eris a mini hack. I don't think it's going to get Eris sized, but
Eris is
it's
not
going to
doing
be a good enough length. I think it might take people 2 or 3 hours on their first playthrough. But it's like a manhunt. You're Samus on a mission to exterminate pirates that have taken over a Galactic Federation ship. And it's like Metroid 2 where you have the Metroid counter, and you have to kill the Metroids before you can go to the Queen. Basically, there's space pirates hidden all throughout the spaceship, and they knew Samus was coming. So the whole idea of the hack is the space pirates booby-trapped all that they could, and then they hid. So you have to go and find them and kill them all, while not getting killed by all the booby traps. It's basically my hack for experimenting with doing different things with enemies. So that was the rationale I came up with for why you have enemies in all these weird positions. It's the space pirates trying to figure out how to stop you.
It's not a bad idea.
But yeah, basically
Yeah,
just go
that's the
through
trap to fall
and,
into.
it's shorter, you only get 7 E-tanks. There's no gravity, you only get various suit. I think there's like wave and spazer, but you don't have all the beams. So that kind of gives you an idea of the length. But there's 50 space pirates to kill throughout the ship, and you have to find them all. And most of them are hidden, like, in walls. You have to, X-ray will help you a lot in that, once you get X-ray.
That sounds really fun and really frustrating at the same time.
Kinda
There's
like
going to be
Metroid 2.
one pirate left.
You'll
He's
be
right.
searching everywhere.
Like that one missile tank left, whatever you're playing.
There should be an
Always
easy
that
way
one
to
thing.
determine like what area the last one would be in or something like that, so that you're not
Yeah, if it
exploring.
indicated like which
Yeah,
area,
if there
like
was
the
sort of
area
like
that
a-
has been completely cleared, that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe if you replace the mini-map with an enemy compass or something. Just so they can kind of get pointed in the right way.
Yeah, I do have an idea on how to handle that. Which is, well, let's see, the other 2 Metroid hacks are, I imagine all of you or most of you have played the demo for Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's one of them that's still receiving work from time to time, but it's more in the background than the others, I'd say. Just because I got myself to a point with it where it felt like difficult to figure out how I was going to continue with the story. But it actually got easier as I worked on the second Angry Fire Chozo, because the whole Fear, Angry Fire Chozo, and Event Horizon being linked in story, doing the Angry Fire Chozo 2 has kind of helped me figure out where Event Horizon is going to go. But obviously the main hack that I'm working on, the big one, is Angry Fire Chozo 2. And as far as size, it's as big as redesign and redesign half again.
Oh boy.
Which is ridiculous.
Wait, so it's Angry Fire Chozo 2 that's going to be enormous, not Horizon?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Event Horizon is going to be larger than the original, but Angry Fire Chozo 2 is going to be the one that dwarfs them all.
It's going to be the Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
So, are you using the same style of level design you used for Angry Fire Chozo 1?
Because it's so big, I have to sort of drop. It's going to have, I'd say, on average, a higher level of detail than Angry Fire Chozo, but I don't think it's going to have those random rooms that are super Eris-like. I think I'm going to have to drop that because I can't afford to waste like 10,000 tile space on a 10-block room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know how you waste 10,000 tile space on a one-block room, but
You can't do that on the 49 block room.
But
I
because
don't know.
it's big, I am making it a bit more open and less cramped, and your movement speed is definitely increased.
Yes. I will say his
Yeah,
movement speed
if the
is much
jumping,
improved.
if the jumping's better off, I'll be very happy with that. The jumping in the first one was kind of
slow.
awkward. Well, it was just because it was a very uniform speed, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down. There wasn't any momentum there.
Yeah.
Now you actually have enough momentum that you can morph into one tile-high ceiling. Or like if you have a morph tunnel at the top,
Yeah.
you can actually jump up and morph with timing and go into that tunnel. You have enough momentum to carry you upward into that tunnel.
Huh.
So it's not too fast where you're jumping up and then you see an enemy suddenly and you don't have any time to react to move out of the way. But it is much more satisfyingly quick. Although I imagine you will still find yourself morphing to fall faster.
Yeah. But I will say it is a lot faster, and I actually do kind of like it now, whereas I hated the first one. The first one's physics were not my favorite
let's
at all.
just not have to boost ball through a locked door. I like that idea. that one literally took me 45 minutes to figure out.
That was pretty lame. I had to shoot into the floor or something. I don't remember what I had to do in that room.
Yeah, well, that was just, I was still learning. I mean, I did, from the time that I made that glitch, it took me a month to make the hack. And so I was just experimenting with different things of what you can do with the new vertical boost ball and these new weird physics. So I did throw in a lot of stupid puzzles like that just because I accidentally discovered them. And then I thought, oh, hey, you can do this. Let's put it in. Without regard for whether other people would actually like it or not.
That's the kind of
Everybody
stuff
who
you have
starts
to
out
use for
hacking
optional
does
items.
Yeah. Difficult stuff for
Yeah, I think
optional
that's
things.
a trap that a lot of hackers fall into. They come onto a
Yeah.
cool idea and it's like, sweet, this is going in. You don't really consider
Yeah.
how the execution of it'll go. You're just, hey, this is cool, it's new, it's going in. I do that a lot.
Yeah, but as far as the vertical boost ball goes, you won't ever have to do it again. But I am designing it so it's like a sequence break thing where if you know how to do it, you can grab some items early.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
it is very difficult though because it's so large to keep everything in order and on track without getting yourself lost or getting myself lost. But because it is so big, I'm also throwing in a lot of new items into Angry Fire Chozo that people haven't seen before. So
Sweet.
I'm trying to add new functions to the game to keep it fresh and interesting, even though I'm expecting it to be a 10-hour playthrough at least.
As long as the mechanics are good.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
I think that pretty much covers the basics for
for your 50
my
bucks.
stuff. Yeah, Metroid stuff.
Yeah. All right. Then why don't we move on to person's second thing there? What makes certain hacks stand out above others, or how do you consider what makes a good hack?
Well, we already talked-
Spikes.
Go.
We already
Get out.
basically
Get
talked
out.
about what's considered a good hack in your first thing being
Yeah.
better, but what does make a certain hack stand out above the others? Like, assembly is obviously one thing,
Spikes.
but it depends on what you do with it.
Now, let's say assembly isn't the be-all and end-all, because searching for items is still my favorite hack. That has nothing in it whatsoever, and it's just a small little hack, and you just collect stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that hack because it's kind of ridiculous in its premise, and it's just fun. It's a lot funner than a lot of other hacks are, because it's not really like a serious hack.
It's kind of
It's
hey,
just searching for items, man.
Yeah, search for
It's
stuff.
kind of just goofy, so...
Yeah, just like a vacation, right?
That's how I prefer to do it, story-wise. Just come up, hear Samus, she's doing this, go.
Yeah.
The hacks that I think playing them that feel better than others, I'm going to say I really liked the way Volta felt when I was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Volta's a good one.
Yeah, there was something about Volta that just it flowed very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Well, I like any hack that can use the original tiles in a way that feels like it's something that the developers made but they never released. It feels like
Yeah.
you're playing a Super Metroid Lost Levels or something. I
Yeah.
know Volta
That's
did get
good.
real custom graphics later on. But
Yeah.
it still managed to keep the feel,
Yeah.
too.
It looked like it
that.
could have been made by them, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're not hating on custom graphics or anything.
No,
I mean,
I like custom graphics, but
I
like me
personally,
the
I can't do custom graphics, but I have no problem with them.
Depends on how they look.
Yeah, if they look
You
like
just have
purple
to be
puke,
helping
then
to
you don't
sell
like
your
it, alright?
Yeah.
I mean, you even think, like, I don't know, I guess everybody tries to get all super detailed with them, which you really don't have to for something to look good. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like just about the
You
overall
have to
theme
go
and style,
redesign.
Yeah.
like Ice Metal, I mean, for as different as it looked, I mean, that hack was fun as hell. I loved it,
Yeah.
It was good gameplay, and it fit the style of what was going on. It wasn't just Super Metroid with goofy graphics, the level design reflected the goofy graphics, and it was just all around good fun.
Yeah. And along those lines, I mean, you could compare Eris, which looks good in its own way. Maybe not. Some people may disagree with some palettes, but it's still the tile work is still really good on that.
Yeah, I mean,
And you could compare that with Syl, which is just basically everything's a silhouette.
I mean, I can appreciate.
pretty
Silhouette
simple.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can appreciate Eris because that's how he wanted the colors to look. It wasn't really just a matter of just throwing colors on me. Those are the colors he wanted for. That was his vision. So
Yeah,
I can respect that.
me too.
But yeah, you can go on opposite ends of the spectrum and still look just fine. Because still, there's no detail at all, really. But it's still really cool looking, so...
A lot of it really comes down to design choice, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another thing I like is, I don't know how, it's just polish. I mean, a general feel of being polished. That redesign really had.
Yeah.
Yes. Something untested is not generally fun to play, unless you're testing it.
Yeah, like if I find like a tile error and that's like really weird and out of place, like that's a good hack because you're not used to seeing little tile errors and things in the
Yeah.
floors and whatnot. But you finally see one and it's like, wow, I didn't expect that to be in here. You're
Yeah.
dealing with a well polished product then.
Yeah.
That makes me want to mention the tiling errors that are in the original Super Metroid.
There
Yeah,
are some,
Oh, yeah. There are some kooky ones.
Yeah.
What gets me about Super Metroid that's so funny is just the detail progression, when you compare the blue Brinstar area with Morphall, and then bam, you get into Meridia, and it's like, backgrounds that flow with the rooms, layer 2 and all that. It was very different.
Meridia is the best area in the original. That is my opinion. Stand by it if you will.
No, Meridia is a pretty area.
It is.
I do not disagree on that front.
I'll say I do not like the sandy parts, but like the green rocks and stuff, that part I liked.
Oh, that's amazing.
You just got to make them work together.
Yep.
I just
The
made mine
background
flash.
areas and the sandy areas are pretty cool.
Well, also
Yep.
I don't like the music for the sandy area, so that has something to do with it.
That's good music, man. I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Hey, they used a rubber band as an instrument.
Take some talent to play that.
It's harder than playing a triangle, at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, I guess, many different ways you could consider a hack good, too. Because a lot of hacks are different. They're varying difficulty levels. They have different level design choices, different item progressions. And so there's still some hacks that are completely opposite. You can still consider each one good, so...
Yeah, there was one, Super Metroid TAS edition or something, where you had, 15 seconds to get out of the Sarah station, and it's pretty much you have to be frame-by-frame tool-assisted precision to beat it,
Yeah.
while it's just the vanilla Metroid with stuff moved around or whatever to make it harder.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have to appreciate that somebody was considering every frame of the run-through when they were doing it.
Yeah.
So while, 99.9% of people can't play it, it doesn't mean that it isn't well made.
Yeah. Because it still
Very
took
true.
a lot of thought to go into that.
Yeah.
And a lot
More
of
than
testing to make sure.
At least it was well tested.
Yep.
Can't argue against that.
That hack was made in slow motion.
Okay. Alright, well, does anyone else have anything to say on that?
Not really.
Grapes.
Grapes. If you want to talk about your grapes person, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything to talk about because the image is gone.
Oh.
Grapes kick ass, wreck shit, and are awesome as hell. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, we look at the next one. Will a hack, do you think, ever be looked forward to as much as Aegis?
Nope.
Next
Pretty
question.
straightforward.
I don't think so. Really, I don't.
I've always been looking forward to Insanity, but Edge just
Ooh, I
hasn't
forgot
been
about
around.
that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, if that's even still...
I
Probably
if that file even exists on his computer anymore. Kejarden, I don't know how to say his name. I heard somebody say it with an H before. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they were making a joke.
Kejarden.
well, yeah, I don't, personally, I just threw that in there because I don't think another hack will tease us as much as Aegis.
Probably
It's
not.
almost done now.
Yeah, it is.
We used to say, 6 months from now, he won't pop in. All right, let's get this Aegis train back on track and get it out there. You never know.
Get this thing finished.
There'll be 1,000 more posts in 2 days.
I don't know if
Yeah,
he's, I don't know, he may decide to come back and work on it, but, I mean, it's not like he's completely, disappeared off the internet, because I've seen him on places like TAS videos. It's just like he doesn't seem to have the interest in Metroid anymore.
Yeah, funny
Yeah.
thing is I was watching one of my friend's MetroidMst streams about a month ago, and I actually ran into him on the chat.
Huh.
And he's just doing other things. He's not really doing anything Metroid related right now. He's just kind of hanging around chilling, he told me.
Yeah.
So,
Which I can understand. I take breaks from working on my own hacks
yeah.
quite a bit. So
Breaks all the time. That's why, nothing
nothing is done.
Early 2012, he said.
It's almost early.
How's Rise coming along?
What's Rise?
It's still aiming for early 2012. It'll be early December 2012.
Early
Yeah,
December.
let that part out.
Well, I think that jumps right into the next topic. Other people's tax on the horizon.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, well, the whole idea when I was talking about this was more of, like, what hacks are you looking forward to the most?
Hard to
Well,
say.
it
That
is,
one
'cause
guy, I forget his name or the hack he made, but he made a topic asking about like the redesign gates, Super Metroid something.
Oh, yeah.
He had like the insanely detailed criteria tile set and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First Horizon? Are you talking about that?
No, it was like, I think the subtitle was in all capital letters, like Super Metroid something.
I'll go ahead and look it up real quick.
Yeah.
So we can...
Was it
what
that
did
French guy you're talking about?
I think it was. Yeah. I don't think
Veneer
English
or
was his
something like
first
that.
language.
see.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of hard because there's not that many like
There's not a
hacks
whole
that
lot
we
going
know
on right
of
now.
that are being worked on.
Yeah.
I mean, Phazon
Yeah.
Hack keeps getting a bunch of revisions.
Yeah.
Oh, is getting another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's working on 0.4 now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I think all he has to do is for 0.4 is custom music, because he's been asking about it.
Yeah, come to think of it, there's not really a lot of hacks right now that are actively
Yeah.
being made. I think it's kind of the regrouping phase with all the
Yeah.
information out there. People are still learning things.
Starting to build up their ideas and getting the
Yeah.
assembly ready for it before they start building it.
Oh, funny little thing real quick, just because I'm on the forums. Shout out to Fud Ducker. Happy birthday, bro.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm sure if I had been working on Super Metroid Prime a lot more, that'd be one thing to talk about. But that's pretty dormant right now.
Yeah.
I think that's about as active as the project-based community hack that's still hasn't worked for some reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, community hacks just need a
Well, I
leader
have
to really work.
Time in the world going into it, I'm like, all right, I got no life. Conditions are perfect. Let's get this done. And then,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah, I could see.
3 months that I hadn't looked at the board, and I'm like, I'm not going to keep all these people hanging. I'm just going to kind of
Yeah.
throw up reins for right now.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say that I'm kind of looking forward to what Black Falcon's working on. He showed me some stuff that he's been working on, and it's looking really good. So,
is his hack still
What he showed
Predator?
off so far looks good.
mhm.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Part of the problem that ASM and all this added knowledge seems to have is that now it takes longer to get stuff done because you're not just doing
Yeah.
level design, but you've got a whole host of other things to add in
Yeah.
that you wouldn't
Yeah,
add
and you
in.
can't just say, all right, I'm just going to make a hack with tiles, and I'm not going to worry
Yeah.
with ASM, because then it's like, well, I could write a little something for this, or
Yeah.
a little something for that. Well, not me,
And then it
'cause I
goes
can't
from
write
there.
it, but I get about 3 rooms in, and I'm like, well,
This would be
I
kind of
can't
nice
do
to
that
have.
myself.
Yeah.
And in the end, it seems like the big hacks that do get done that involve ASM, I mean, Redesign had some ASM in it, and that was well, I don't have to tell you that's a big hack, but it seems like there are teams of people working on it. I mean, even
Yeah.
if the other people don't do a whole lot, it seems like you still sort of need someone to be able to do something if you want to get somewhere.
Like
Yeah.
the team projects aren't necessarily announced. They're more of unspoken. Like, can
Yeah.
you do this for me for the sake of helping me, bro, or something like that.
Yeah. I would say
Like
that
what
works
Fear's got
better.
going on.
I like the idea of doing things to have the information out there, either releasing it as the ASM file or just
Mhm.
what you had to do in a hex editor to make that work. So if
Yeah.
somebody
Something
else
you
has
can
an
learn
idea,
from.
can
Yeah.
stick that in theirs.
What I
Kind
would
of
like to
snowball
see
it.
is more just stuff out there, like a page on the main site. Here's ASM you can apply. Here's some more hex edits you can do to get this. I would like to see more of that. So that
Yeah,
way
I
they
think
can
When was the last time
pick stuff out.
I mean, I've been pretty diligent. Like, anytime somebody posts something on IRC or in the forums that I haven't seen before, I'll just copy and paste it
Yeah.
into a text file to add to a page later or something.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of that I need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another hack that I've been looking forward to is what Sizer's working on.
All
Yeah.
Seraphim,
Oh,
Yeah.
or however you say it.
I haven't seen anything on that. I don't think.
Her intro is amazing. The
That-
first room.
Yeah.
The one that looks like the busted up spaceship or whatever with the
Yeah.
bent
Yeah,
floor
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet room.
I've seen some things in there that's really good looking.
A phone.
Ring.
Oh, ring ring, banana phone.
Ring, 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 banana phone. That needs to be put in.
It's a ring off.
Good times.
Yeah, there's not really that much that we know of that's being worked on. I will say, though, that Big Domino's hack, I
Oh, yeah,
do
that's
like
what
how
he
that's
was.
looking.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can't find that. There we go.
It should be right on the first page there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Super
when I saw
Metroid Depths of
that,
Oblivion.
Yeah.
the designs
There we
look
go.
really cool. I think unless he's picked it up since then, I remember the designs looking really, really cool, but the
Yeah.
tiling being a little iffy.
Yeah. It's still something that I guess was kind of out of the blue that we weren't aware
Yeah.
of. So.
I lo-
I love it when a new app drops out of the blue, like, hey, check this out, I just
And
made
it
this.
actually has content.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
that's a good one.
new ideas and whatnot in it, like, holy crap, where
Yeah.
did this come from? It didn't come from us.
Yeah.
That's actually a really
That's
good
like
point, though.
this
when
phase
hacks
on.
start
It
up.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, Phazon
Yeah.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Super Zero Mission came out of nowhere.
yes.
Yeah.
Dark Home Hospital just kind of popped up.
Yeah.
That's been
So
quite a-
Super Zero Mission really, that's actually something that's not bad to talk about. How much we actually know about the Japanese hacking community.
I
Yeah,
tried getting in
absolutely.
contact with them, but that didn't pan out.
Yeah, I remember you speaking out with them.
Was it just the language barrier, or could you not really get in touch with anybody?
Yeah, I tried contacting someone on Twitter, but I didn't get. He didn't really contact me back, so.
Yeah, I can remember going on like the Japanese sites and just using Google Translate to see. And I remember
Yeah.
there being like a Metroid forum somewhere I found, or not really a forum, but they had a chat on one of their @wiki
Yeah.
pages. And I remember just reading through it, and I'd see things like they'd load up a video of Super Metroid Aris, or they'd have a link to it, and it's like the one where Samus is just walking, and the background scrolls faster than the foreground.
Yeah.
You know, that effect. And then they just ask, how do you do this? Then someone else, Japanese, would reply, how to do it.
Mhm.
And I think most of those questions were actually asked by the guy who made Super Zero Mission.
Huh.
I mean, I'm not sure if Super Zero Mission, how much of it was just one guy and how much of it was a team. So I remember seeing, it seems like one guy was asking a lot of the questions, but there were several people who had the knowledge to be able to answer things like how we actually did that thing in Eris. So I
It's
think
probably similar to how it is here. Somebody's doing their hack and then they just make a topic, asking how to do this or that. Just kind of incorporating everything they get into what they have going. Like somebody to make the ASM to do like how a DSO recreated with the transparent tunnels that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
disappear when you get into them and stuff. Because that I'd never seen.
Yeah.
that was cool.
So, actually, I think that may be a good thing to bring into the last one I brought up about mistakes for people who are just starting out to avoid. Because there's a lot of things you can do.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
2 blocks high without more.
Biggest mistake
Yeah.
you make, man, is not using enough spikes.
You love
keep
your
it low on the
spikes.
spikes. Keep it low on the spikes. They're not bad. They're not that bad. It's
They're
when they're in
not.
abundance that they're
Yeah.
a pain.
Have we
They're-
mentioned bubbles yet?
Not
Whoa!
yet. I was getting to that.
Why did it take us an hour to get to the bubbles?
That was part of my appendix.
Because there's not enough bubbles in field?
Yes.
Not
yeah.
enough bubbles in any hack.
Bubbles are amazing.
That's one of the
Another
things
thing-
I loved about Grime to begin, like when I first saw him, was his use of bubbles. Like the very first time I saw Grime stuff.
Bubbles!
I mean,
Man, we need to just make a hack where we just take the original Super Metroid and just reskin the entire thing with nothing.
Oh boy.
Leave everything else alone. Don't even
I would
touch
play
a
it.
single fucking thing and just...
I would play it.
It needs some nice pellets.
Make like the title
purple and
screen out
green,
of
purple and green.
We need a Super Metroid
Purple
Project
and
Bubble
green.
Base.
I didn't realize your signature is purple and green. I don't want to hear it.
Well, it had some blue.
Some blue.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
purple and green's just... I stole it from you, so...
Purple and green is the best combination, apparently.
It is a really good combination. But yeah, there's a lot of things when you just start out making your hack that you can just avoid. Because generally when I started, I was thinking, well, first of all, it's going to be a boss rush, which didn't happen, but I was thinking, it's going to be super difficult and all this. Now that I've gone further, I'm like, I really don't want it to be that difficult. I want it so that everybody can be able to at least pick it up and play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's another direction that hacks have been changing lately. It started off with super hard hacks, but more.
I do like the
lately.
trend of hacks becoming easier. I am
Yeah.
in favor of that. I don't like stupidly hard hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
For as much
hard
as I
one
don't like
every
it,
now and then isn't that
I
bad.
end up making these hard hacks myself, even when I'm trying not to make it hard.
Yeah.
Another good one would be is that if you're going to post your hack on the forums, this is just the thing is, aside from making sure you have content in your topic, take your time before you post the topic. Like,
Yeah.
there's a difference between, rushed work and non-rushed work, which we already went over. But just take your time and baby your hack, and you'll eventually get where you want if you have enough dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard there's actually kind of a relation between where studies have shown the more you talk about something, it means the less that you're actually working on it. Like if you're talking about something, it just means mostly it's in the planning stage. Whereas who's actually done something will want to keep some of it secret.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's like you want people to know, but at the same time you don't. You want to pull them towards you to say hey, you want to check this out.
Hype.
Kind of like a shady guy in a white unmarked van with candy.
That was
You
an
would know.
interesting.
So what now? I missed that a little bit. I had to run up
Person talking about his personal experiences here.
Hey, no.
Yeah, he saw a white van with the name Super Metroid H's on it, and he walked right in and ended up getting in trouble.
I'm sure MST saw one with bubbles on it.
And they were so many different colors. I couldn't help it.
We were flashing. Flashing red and blue.
That actually is one little thing. Will we ever have to worry about seizure warnings with your hacks in this team?
So little time
your
had
hack could be
one.
like
Fear will
your hack
have
could
one.
be like a seizure test. Like, if you can play through these few rooms without convulsing on the floor, then you're okay.
Yeah, you might. Now, I might be able to do that for fear, but for much more time, I would have. No, there's just a seizure warning period.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
play that in a
that's true.
dark room on a
That one is
screen.
going to.
See if
Don't
you
even
know.
touch it if you even think you might collapse. I have an issue with liking flashing things.
The warning needs to be built into the title screen. So
Yes, I need
That's
to do
not
that.
a bad idea.
It needs to be a flashing warning when you first turn the game on. The background flashing black and white with the text, flashing black and white too.
Like the title screen text of Super Metroid turns into a warning paragraph.
Yeah.
If you are currently on floor, do not play this hack.
Metroid Construction is not liable for any damages received while playing this.
Oh, another mistake that can be made. I mean, even if you're not really a noob, but with all the new stuff that's coming out, it's available with ASM and patches. A lot of times people will start something, but they won't have everything in the ROM yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you start, and then you start adding stuff in on top, and you've got yourself up.
Oh, you're saying gather your resources before you start.
Yeah.
Yeah, like have your ROM
That's a good
ready
one.
before you start.
Yeah.
That and make sure your assembly files aren't writing to the same place. I did that
too.
a lot.
Yeah, I've used that problem quite a bit with
Yeah.
close with every single patch Black Dude.
And if
It's
you're,
every
if
single
you're,
thing Pfizer and Black Falcon have done for me have broken DSO's glows in my
I had to keep going and fixing everything.
every single time. That was kind of fun.
It took me way longer to learn than it should have, but if you're going to apply an IPS of any kind, make a freaking backup and do a file compare.
Yes.
You're working
Yep.
by,
That is something that has to be said. Make backups all the time.
Back up often.
if
Yeah.
you can't remember if you just backed up, make a backup
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. And another good idea would be to make the backup as an IPS.
Yeah, if you're looking to save space, and email
Yeah.
it to yourself
Yes,
or
email it to
upload it or
yourself.
something.
Email it, put it on Dropbox, store it on another computer, put it on your hard drive, your flash drive.
Yeah,
Keep
All
it
the
everywhere.
above.
Yeah, have it everywhere so you have, and make sure your current backups everywhere.
Heck,
Yeah.
someone recently had a problem in one of their hacks. I think it was Super Metroid New Zebus, or it was
Yeah, somebody just-
Eternity.
yeah.
I think it was Eternity. He lost all his
Yeah.
work, and that's
Yeah.
just a bummer.
And especially if you're starting out, you probably will come across something that will break your hack somehow.
Oh, yes.
So
Yep.
keep a
Actually, if
backup.
you're starting out, it's not a bad idea to attempt to break a ROM, because then you actually
yeah,
learn.
kind of know something about it. But
Man, the first time I hacked, I broke my ROM the second room into the game. Like, I don't need these scrolls. I'll just color them all in blue. And even though there were some that didn't have scrolls in them and stuff, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, the first time I did it, I ended up doing something with the room that somehow it caused the game to think the ROM was PAL, or it caused Smile to think the ROM was PAL. So Smile wouldn't open anymore. And back then I didn't know how to fix or anything, which I do now, but it's just a learning process of breaking things so you know how not to break them.
My first
Yeah.
breaking would have been adding PLMs and enemies without repointing.
yeah.
That's
My
a common.
first would actually be repointing the tile data in the room.
Mm.
I did something somewhere, and like a whole bank was messed up. I don't even
Thanks.
know.
Man, that tile set repointing broke me so many times when I was learning
Yeah.
it. Oh, man.
And even something else to mention when you're repointing stuff with the hex editor, make sure you overwrite the bytes and not insert them.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's another
I
good
did
mistake.
that, but I kept not copying enough of the tile bytes, and so every time
Yeah.
I would do it, Smile would, you screwed up, buddy. I can't tell you how, but you did, and
You did something I don't like it. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of pitfalls when you're starting out that you kind of, as you go along, you'll yeah. But as you go along, you'll kind of get the hang of not to do. So it takes a while to get really into.
It really
making new
does.
stuff,
I mean,
so.
it's what, almost 3 years, and I still break ROMs here and there.
Yup,
So yeah.
that's gonna happen regardless of
Yeah.
how skilled you are. It's just one of those things you can't avoid.
So again, make backups.
Backups
Right,
are your
so-
friend.
I guess we just have a couple more things here. Maybe we can get through them here real quick.
Why fear sucks.
Yeah. Not enough bubbles. For the size of the hack, I would say there's less than 1% of rooms in the hack that actually have bubbles in them.
What?
Yeah.
Blasphemy!
It sounds like your finale area needs to have bubbles in it.
It
You
doesn't
just have like the final bubble boss.
Mother bubble.
Not quite. Not quite. There will be something
You know, I
very different. But
I almost freaking made Rinkas that looked like the Norfair bubbles. I was like this close.
that would have been perfect.
I wanted to have freaking like little bubbles flying around and big bubbles flying around. I still
You
wanted
could
to
have
do
the
that.
little quarter
And
tile
also-
bubbles if you just adjust the Rinka's hitbox.
Yeah.
You could have those flying around. And you could have them flash colors.
Oh, boy. Metroid Rave Party.
Yeah, so there's that.
We'll even need drugs to trip on Metroid.
Not for anybody who's played my stuff. Um,
That's just called epilepsy.
Did we do number 5 on yours, bro?
Not yet.
Okay, so yeah.
Nope.
What things would we like to see more of in hacks then?
Spikes.
Yeah, we kind of hit a bunch of things so far.
I'd like more custom items and custom music. I mean, the last one's kind of a because I'm like one of 2 people who knows how to do that, but it's something I want to
music
see.
isn't going to happen until there's a program for it.
But it's something I want to see.
Yeah, that is something I would like to
Definitely.
see. But
But custom items have been kind of coming along the last year. There have been some
Yeah.
popping up.
more people getting into ASM.
Really, the bad thing about it is, I mean, making the item, I mean, from an assembly standpoint, the actual programming the item,
Yeah.
I guess, seems easy enough. It's adding it into the Paul's equipment screen and stuff that seems to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
trip people up.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will say, Crash4 has done a lot of custom stuff with his
Oh, man.
hack.
That HUD
We haven't
of his
mentioned Bounty on
pretty
Horizon
nuts.
at all. There's been a he's done a lot. He's doing it right. He's getting everything together first before he actually starts building the hack.
Which is a very, very smart
Yeah.
idea.
That is.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
wish
how
I
I
did
feel
that.
about a few of his items. I don't know. Some of them
Some
are
of them-
okay.
They're interesting. They're different.
It was weird. I think I saw one where like charge beams took from missiles or something. That was kind of
Yeah.
a little dodgy for me, but I mean, it's what he's going for. You know, that's
Yeah.
his thing.
Yeah.
He's making the game around that concept, so
Yeah,
it's
so-
not the.
We'll have to wait and see how it really comes out. So
Definitely.
Yep.
I thought it was unique when I played it. I mean, he's changed
Yeah.
some things up since then, but it's all good, I think.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is a little bit of a shameless self-promotion, but something I'd like people to start doing is, instead of wasting 2 tile sets that are exactly the same just for a different palette, use my palette blend patch.
Yep.
So open up
I love
more
that
tile
patch,
sets.
man.
you can keep the one tile set, and you can have different palettes with that patch. Just it works like that. You save
I'm
yourself
gonna
a tile set.
try it out
Just
then,
use that
because I'm
patch,
gonna
you know,
be...
when I turned all the white colors into a tile set palette and I loaded it up and it actually worked, I was like, oh, what, 64 more palettes?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So don't
But I like that because you can do
have any
special things.
tiles left.
Yeah.
What?
That didn't quite come through there.
I say don't complain that you don't have any more tiles left to use. Just find the 2 you got. You got 50 palettes for just the same tiles. Just use this patch and you open yourself up 10 more tile sets.
Yeah.
So
10.
why didn't you tell me
Goodness.
this before I started doing stuff? Well, so yeah. Well, I think we could do a few quick hitters here in person's appendix here. Quickly, what's everyone's favorite tile set?
Rocky Meridia.
Red Brinstar, I'd have to say.
Is this strictly original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can include custom tile set if you want.
Well, not everyone will understand what I'm talking about, so I have to stay with the original, I guess. I like the Meridia.
Meridia's good. I have to say Norfair because there's so much variety.
I would say Norfair just because of the bubbles.
Makes
Now,
sense for you.
now, if we're mixing Red Brinstar up with bubbles, then that's like number
Oh,
one.
boy.
If you put bubbles in any
favorite.
tile set, it's great.
Yeah,
They really do. They
They
integrate
fit
with
anywhere. They do.
Bubbles
they're good.
wreck ship.
Okay, wreck ships just...
Hey, yeah, they don't fit. They don't really fit anywhere now, do they?
I'll make it work and prove you wrong.
Good luck.
Okay, go for it. I like
It'll
to
be
proven
2
wrong.
years, but...
It'll be when Fear gets done.
Okay, 5 years.
Man, I'm not even really deadlining anymore. I'm just gonna try to have Rise out sometime in 2012. That's the goal for that.
Work at it when you work at it.
Yeah, I mean, I do it in bursts. I mean, I'll have 3 or 4 days of all-nighters just hitting it, hitting it constant and getting a lot done, and then it's for 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. What about everyone's favorite music? And just keep this to the standard because there's not really custom stuff open, really.
I'm still gonna go the Rocky Meridia. That's really
I'm
good.
still gonna have to say Red Brinstar again. Badass song.
I like both the Meridia tracks, honestly. They're both good.
I'm gonna go with Green Brinstar.
I have a hard time deciding whether I like the Rocky Meridia or the Red Brinstar. So it's between those two for me. Because I like both those.
Red Brinstar.
I mean, they're both really good tracks. They are.
Yeah, Super Metroid has a lot of really good tracks in it.
Definitely.
How about the... Oh my goodness, favorite tiles in a tile set. Everybody knows mine already, so...
Favorite
Honestly, I kind of
tiles?
just threw that one in there, so I'm not even sure myself.
Yeah, why
I was just kind of letting
I
my
think
thoughts go into my
maybe
fingers on the
water had
keyboard.
something to do with
My
it.
favorite tile is
Yeah,
the air
it's-
tile. It's the one I use the most.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Based on past use, I think mine would probably be those little skinny blue platforms in the Criteria shaft. I've done all kinds of crazy stuff with those.
I've seen-
I merged in with the bubbles once.
Yeah,
I made a little
yeah.
8x8 one.
I think I actually like vegetation tiles in any tile set, really. I think
Definitely.
they add some good life to the tiles.
Definitely.
There's definitely not a lot of vegetation at all in the original Super Metroid.
Yeah.
It's just like the vines in Meridia, there's some dead stuff in Red Brinstar, and a couple flowers in Green Brinstar.
There's some stuff in Meridia, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meridia actually has a lot
It
of
does have some
unused
plants.
things.
Yeah.
It's like, I know there's a bunch of rocks I haven't seen anywhere, and like these little pink plant-looking
Yeah.
things.
How about the most boring part of making a hack?
I think this will differ if you do ASM. I think that something ASM related will be the most boring part. If you don't, then you'll say something else.
Yeah, I don't do ASM, so I'm going to say anything involving graphics usually bores me.
Oh.
Working with the graphics editor is my most boring part. I hate that. Actually,
For me, it's just setting up rooms, getting the size and the PLM and enemies and population palette pointers and all that set up, because it's something I've already done a bunch of times before, so it's not like I'm going to get some awesome new result out of it. It's just busy work I got to do before I can get rolled.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
I'd say there's only one thing
Tedious.
I find more tedious than music, and that is inserting room names. Room names takes even more time to get all set up than music.
Because you have to do one for every single room.
Yeah, and then if you have multiple rooms within the same room, you have to work that out somehow.
Nice.
Ugh.
through door pointers and whatever.
Yeah, and it's just really a pain.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll leave that up to you.
He'll be sending you his patch shortly.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, I think we actually made it through the whole list then.
Yeah, we did.
So,
Oh,
Congrats.
I'll be damned.
One thing. There we go.
you're all
And all about an hour, too. A little over.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think that worked pretty well. So, hopefully everyone enjoyed this, and we'll be doing this whenever. It's not going to be a regular thing, but
If you ever when...
if we have a bunch of stuff to talk about again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to let the news build again.
Yeah. This
Another
took 2 years to
years.
get to, so.
Doing any closing statements here?
Yeah, that'd be good to do. I would say, again, make backups, because you can't hammer that point home enough.
Oh, man.
Never.
I already know what Grime's statement is going to be, and it's going to be more spikes.
Son of a bitch. Now I don't know what to say because you just said it.
Not only make more spikes, but make the spikes fake and them actually safe stations.
Oh.
No.
I'm just going to say drink more beer, then I'll just default to that.
As person can attest to, alcohol helps.
Helps you party.
I guess mine would be just take your time, no big rush, but try not to be too lazy about it.
Sage advice, my friend.
Yeah. Don't rush yourself.
If I were to make a closing statement, it would possibly be I'm DSO and don't ask me for music unless you're someone I already know.
Hey, DSO, make me some music.
Well, you see, I know you, and I know that you're at least working on something. So, if you're someone I feel you
Kind of.
release something, I might do it for you.
Come to think of it, I got about 100 songs I wouldn't mind hearing on the SPC.
Oh, sure, I'll start charging you money.
That's a little bass backwards if you ask me.
What about you, Squishy?
I guess my closing statement is I haven't really got a whole lot of hacking done lately. I feel kind of bad about it, but I don't know if I will. It's open in the future. Who knows? And see you kiddies next time.
Yep. All right.
All right, so
I
everyone have a
think
good
we'll do it for the first MetConst podcast, so I guess whenever we get around to doing it again.
Until
It's been real.
Alright. See you next time.
Yep.
Or is it see you next mission? I think that's what it is. See you next mission.
Yeah, it is. See you next mission. 100%, guys.
Woo! We did do 100% on the list. All right.
Hey, first playthrough, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That'll
we did
never happen again.
Now I need to go to the
All things
rest.
considered, I'd say it went well for,
Yeah,
pretty
I
much
think that went
popping
pretty well.
everybody's podcast cherry at once. It could have gone worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
All right.
could have stayed the way it
Just
was.
degraded.
Sorry.
I'm gonna hit the button and stop recording now.
Yeah, might as well.
Oh,
okay.
we were still recording now.
Well, he can cut that off, so. Or you can just add your music over top of it so we can't hear it.
I'll just